Hello and welcome to Heel Turn Radio. This is the Beard flying solo tonight. Going to have some guests dropping by. Uh, we're here on Wednesday. I know that sweet graphic says Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but hey, things change. And we're trying to roll with the punches. I think it's really still been a challenge for us to get things figured out. And how often we're streaming, when we're streaming. Thankfully, we have some great folks as part of our team. Every Tuesday, like clockwork, you got Diamond Dave and New Money Matt hanging out and doing Tiny Mang Tuesday. They'll be back here next Tuesday with some very special guests. And you're King Ginger hanging out with them every other week. But they have fantastic folks from all over the kind of customizing and action figure industry, talking wrestling figs and so much more. Um, I went to my first show in over a year. Some of you may have seen me with a more luxurious beard hanging out at First Wrestling for Blood, Sweat, and Beers 3. And it was a really great show. I think that there's very few promotions in the region that kind of sniff at the quality of show that First Wrestling puts on. And I wanted to talk a little bit about it tonight. Top to bottom, the card was super entertaining. Um, I think that First always brings in great talent. Whether you know everybody that's on the card or there's a few surprises, it was a real treat to kind of be out at a show again. I know that King and I have had a lot of reservations about just going to shows in general. I don't know that going to the show made me feel any better about that or made me want to go to more shows. I certainly would have loved to have seen our friend Calix, who was on the podcast 2 weeks ago while he was in town. But yeah, it's a lot of people in one place, and I think that um, it's really difficult depending on what you do for a living, if you're immunocompromised, any other numbers of things to really go out and hit up these shows. It's a challenge. So for anybody else that's struggling with that, we definitely hear you. It's hard to really love independent wrestling and not feel comfortable going out and doing it. But I think that we should all be aware that we're living in unprecedented times for our generations and without sounding like I'm waxing a little too poetic, it's a challenge. It's a real challenge to want to continue to support everybody, but really feeling anxious about going to shows. So we do what we can. I have a fantastic shirt on from one Travis Huckabee. He's looking to do another run of shirts and looking for some input. So if you want to sport a great East Coast grappler, Travis is awesome. Has been on the podcast multiple times. We've had an opportunity to see him wrestle for Chikara multiple times, and he's a regular on Blitzkrieg Pro and a couple other promotions out on the East Coast. So check him out on IWTV. Um, Additionally, um, I think that there's a lot that can be said for the kind of health of the Minnesota independent scene, and all the people that have kind of gone through training in the last couple of years and graduated. For anybody that's at the first show, being able to see Dante Martin, aka Angel Dorado, go from a skinny, freshman in high school wrestling at the Mounds Theater for IWI to main eventing First Wrestling, following in his brother's footsteps. It's really amazing to see Dante come into his own, and he is one of the nicest people that we've met doing wrestling, from sitting in on commentary and cracking King up relentlessly when we were doing commentary for MAW to just being just so genuinely nice every time we see him. It's really been a lot of fun. So um, I don't know. Breaking down the card, we can go through kind of everything that happened and the ins and outs. If you had a chance to see the show, want to chime in, please let us know. Obviously, the kind of big names that were present. that were brought in from out of town. Danhausen, Effie, Ethan Page. Danhausen, Eric Cannon, Ethan Page had a banger of a match. Some good dancing on the apron and kind of making good, getting to see Danhausen again. Because the last show that I went and saw was the Rosedale show, so it's been quite a long time. Um, there was a lot of amazing talent that was a holdover from the Clutch Brewing event on Friday. So we got to see Trey Lamar again. He ended up wrestling Starboy, which is fantastic. Badger Briggs, who I think in her 11th match is just like a Joshi ass kicking machine. Oh, hey, Big Log, how's you doing, buddy? How's the streaming going? I saw that you had some stuff going on, and we're trying some things out. Good to hear, man. Good to hear. Just talking a little bit about First Wrestling. I went to the first shows since last year's Rosedale show for First Wrestling. This is my first in-person wrestling show back. So yeah, just talking through a little bit about the card. Got to see Kara, Free Range Kara against Brooke Valentine. Um, amazing to see them for the first time against each other at the first MAW Grand Slam. However many years ago that is now, 4 years ago. To seeing them now is just unbelievable. They've just the way that their chemistry is always great. It's always a lot of fun seeing them get in the ring together. But it was a real treat. It was really great to be able to check that out. Um, Yeah, Big Log, man, we haven't seen each other in a while either. We've been trying to kind of navigate what's going on with Dive Club and just haven't been able to get it all locked in. I think maybe we should have to have a little joke boat reunion, or a reunion without joke boat, if we want to have Clark join us as well. I know he's not a huge fan of the joke boat, but maybe some Jackbox games here one of these Thursdays. Um, and speaking of, if you're watching and you've watched Dive Club, or you've hung out with us on the Twitch during the pandemic, or watched on my brother's channel, Dave Wonder. If you watch Big Log stream, if you watched Oren Veit stream, if you watch Ref Clark Feldman stream, uh, the waves are turning into different directions. Um, yeah, thanks for watching. We're really interested in what people are interested in checking out. Whether that's us doing more old school interviews and having folks on like Devon Monroe, who's going to be on at 8 Central later tonight, or if it's doing collaborations with our friends like Big Log, or other wrestling folks. We always really enjoy doing that, and to a certain extent, it's kind of doing things that we enjoy as well, and kind of trying to figure out where that intersection happens, and whether it's, like, is it relevant anymore? I don't know. I think that when we were building everything up, um, I used we, in terms of kind of us building the podcast. But I think even thinking about the kind of Mindy scene getting built back up with everybody from the academy graduating and starting to work, in those first couple of classes, I felt like we were heading for this big resurgence that I think got derailed quite a bit by the pandemic. And it's a real strange thing to think about, kind of how we come back from that, and if we come back as strong, obviously with some changes in kind of training, and kind of where everybody's ending up, who people are choosing to work for or not work for one reason or another. It's been really challenging to see kind of how everything shakes out, and certainly it's not just local wrestlers, but also which promotions are willing to bring wrestlers in. It's it's tough seeing the same card over and over again. Just kind of putting it in the blender and let it go. if that's not kind of your flavor. If you want to go once a month and see great wrestling, I think that can totally work. And I think that there's a different type of promotion for every type of fan. Um, but I think that there's also something to be said for the kind of variety show of having a show every month that has a little bit of something for everybody. And what it takes to do that, I think, is a bit more than some promotions want to do, or it's not kind of in their wheelhouse. So it's a really interesting way to see kind of how people view coming back. I don't know. Um, and for folks that are watching, I uh, I hated when people said, "Well, you had 16 months to get better at something, or you had 16 months to do this." And it's like, well, yeah, you also had 16 months to just try to survive a pandemic and keep your mind straight and keep your mental and physical health going. But by that same rationale, to kind of go back and do things the same way we did before the pandemic, running the same way, marketing the same way, um, booking the same way, even. Uh, I don't know. It's hard to kind of go back to the way things were without seeing things change or evolve. So it always kind of tastes a little off when you're kind of trying to navigate all of that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Big Log, you've been back in the ring at least once, right? You're for everybody who's watching. Logan Cartman is a referee, done some refereeing for Showtime Pro Wrestling over in Wisconsin previously. Yeah, three times now. Wow. Yeah, time's flying. So yeah, I'm interested for folks that are watching or in the chat. Please chime in. What is your comfort level? I mean, what do you feel good about? What do you think people are doing right? What do you think people could be doing better? Because I'm not sure. I have my opinions. I think that all of the kind of um, you know. Uh, non-mandatory vaccinations or negative tests. We're all still, if there's 500 people at a show, there's 500 people at a show. Um, and I think that that's hard to wrestle with sometimes. No pun intended. Whether that's actually a safe space or not, regardless of kind of what the restrictions are, considering like any disease, any virus, we can always carry it. And so that's been a concern of mine, trying to kind of figure out, are we even doing enough when we're doing as much as possible, for people to feel safe going out and doing it. We all have different comfort levels. So yeah, for everybody watching, Beard here, hanging out, talking a little bit about first wrestling's Blood, Sweat, and Beers 3, and how enjoyable that was at Bauhaus this last weekend. Then joined by Devon Monroe here at the 8 o'clock hour. But right now, just talking with the chat in terms of what comfort levels are, and kind of how they're going about supporting wrestling through all of this. Big Log said, right now I'm still a bit limited in how far I can travel with reffing. So for now, just keeping it close to home has been very beneficial. Yeah, yeah, I hear that. I mean, in terms of kind of things being in our own backyard, there's become more and more offerings, um, and then some promotions that are kind of branching out and doing things elsewhere. First, certainly running a lot more outdoor shows, which has been interesting to see. MAW I know ran over the last weekend, and really over the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of promotions running outdoors, or even indoors with the Pro Wrestling Battleground last weekend at Wilebski. And then you have some more indoor shows this weekend. Discover Pro Wrestling um, up in Duluth Superior. Uh, Higher Ground will be back to Maria Avenue here in September. Um, and yeah, I think that there's valid valid concerns with everything going on, and um, just trying to kind of sort everything out. I love wrestling, but kind of prime time wrestling really isn't my cup of tea right now. Big Lug said, "No, with wearing a mask in general has affected my asthma to an extreme amount where I don't fully know when I would be able to head back to Minnesota at the moment." Yeah, yeah, and just being immunocompromised. I mean, having that. My mom is immunocompromised. She has really bad asthma. King, who we've mentioned before on here, um, has has a lot of kind of existing health issues, and so yeah, that's always a kind of concern for me too. Is not only kind of my own health, but the health of those around me. So that's a tough thing to wrestle with. No pun intended. Keep saying that, but yeah, I don't know. Wednesdays, man. I feel like we did this on Wednesday, and I think that with Dive Club moving to every other Thursday, we may kind of move this off of Wednesday. It's a tough night with a lot of pre-show, post-show, and kind of everything else going on in the wrestling world. Um, it's been really nice to see a lot of familiar faces popping up on AEW, and just seeing people down, in Atlanta and down at the factory. I wear it if I had to, but I don't know if I could wear it for a prolonged period of time. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's a lot, and making those decisions are not super easy. It's hard when kind of your hobby or the thing that you really enjoy outside of work and everything else uh, isn't an easy thing. It's really something that takes a lot of consideration and a lot of consternation about what's kind of best to do. Um, Yeah, I don't know what to say, Big Log. It's tough. I struggle with it a lot. Certainly, got the chance to go to Blood, Sweat, and Beers, as I mentioned, with my brother, and got to see Matt and Danny Lynn there, and saw so many other friends. Got to say hi to Airwolf and catch up a little bit. Saw Kara and Chris and Darren and Allie, who I hadn't seen a year and a half in person, and yeah, it is how it is until something happens. I mean, it's something's happening all the time. It's just not the something that we would like it to be, I don't think. um but yeah, had an opportunity to see Riley Jackson, Bill Williams, just so many great people. Got to see Eric from Time Bomb Pro, who they're running a show here now in the Twin Cities, coming up in September. Got to meet him in person for the first time, and we've done our best to try to support organizations that we feel passionate about, whether that's Time Bomb, getting things going in Fargo, and seeing a lot of our folks like Damon Spriggle and Orin Veidt and Badger Briggs and Northern Force. There's been everybody that's coming. Eric Cannon's been on those shows. Ricky Norin. Um, yeah. It's so we've been trying to kind of support as sponsors for those shows. But yeah, it's hard to figure out whether we should be telling people to go to shows or not. um, I wrestle with that a lot. Dive Club, we ended up canceling because we didn't want to be responsible for kind of inviting people out to something that could get them sick. So it's tough, but yeah, for everybody that's interested in that Time Bomb show or feels comfortable, kind of going out, put a link in the chat to the post from Time Bomb. They'll be having their inaugural event here in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis at Part Wolf over on Cedar Avenue, September 25th. No ring, no rules. Um, Effie's on the show. Ricky Norin, Carver, um Duke Cornell, Jordan, um, Badger Briggs, Orrin Veidt, going one on one. I think first time ever. Effie, Damon Spriggle. So a lot. A lot going on to check out here in the Twin Cities. Coming up here in September. Also, first announcing two more shows. Sunday, September 19th, at Pyrus Brewing Company over off West River Road, North Minneapolis. Should be a great show. Outdoors, and then the return of, or the makeup, I guess, date for WrestlePalooza, coming up in October. So yeah, things returning. Um, WrestlePalooza, wow, 18. Um, lots to see kind of coming up, and Palooza is, the whole First Avenue chain of venues are, either proof vaccination or negative test within 72 hours. So there's some comfort there, but at the same rate, vaccinated or unvaccinated for the Delta variant can carry just as much of it kind of in your system and pass it on. So um, yeah, it's a hard thing to make decisions about. Um, I don't know, man. Uh, Wrestling's a tough thing right now, especially because I'm in a position, as a educator, that if I get sick, I have to find somebody to cover. There's no sick days in the same way, and so thinking about getting sick, or getting students or colleagues sick in an educational environment that's trying to return to normal is a hard thing to figure out. Uh, oh yeah, all out pro wrestling, is that Pete King? Oh, your birthday's on the 28th of August, Big Log, or September? Shit, that was the August 28th was my dad's birthday. So you share a good day with a great guy. So um, yeah, it's hmm, I don't know. I thought it'd be easier to carry an hour here. Um, I want to, I really want to make sure that we're rolling it out for Devon at 8 p.m. But man, wrestling's been hard this last year and a half. Um, yeah, yeah. We've been doing a lot with the heel turn SMP. We've been able to hang out a lot with friends, Casual Doug, with Shannon Richard from the Married Marks podcast, Knox, the clown who trained at the Academy, Rough Dan Fitz. A lot of great people were playing on Java. And yeah, it's been great. We haven't really streamed a whole lot since we started up, but maybe we'll do a little tour of that here soon, and try to stream some regular. Some of it is yeah, any fun crazy moments from the server. Yeah, there's some people that have a lot of experience, and some people that don't have a lot of experience. So it's pretty funny to have folks that haven't played in a long time or haven't played a whole lot, trying to navigate it next to people that are trying to kind of go a mile a minute. Um, there's been some funny shenanigans. We play with head drops, so we were trying to make a kind of hall with people uh, with their heads, And yeah, it's been funny. We've had a couple of accidents. I was trying to just make a nice ping sound by hitting King with an arrow from far away, and he hadn't been eating, and so his hearts were way down, and accidentally lost like 50 levels for him. He wasn't super happy about that, but these things happen. um, oh, great! Want to become famous? Big Lug, do you want to become famous? Where's my bot to take care of all of that? That's my question. That should never have made it on here. Um, please don't do that. Oh, see, Peterson, why you got it? Yeah, be Big Lug. Um, yeah, Big Lug. I'm sorry that we don't have compatible versions. I would love to have you on the SMP. I think that we had the same issue with Clark. Clark was on Bedrock as well. So real real bummer. I think it would have been a lot of fun to have you guys join us. But maybe if we're able to figure things out on an independent server, we could maybe get something together and get y'all involved because yeah, I think that would be a hoot. It's been a while since we've all been able to really hang and chat. So lots going on with all of that. But yeah, we're playing pretty regularly, I think, and it's been fun. It's been a good escape. If we can't get out to wrestling shows, at least we're able to hang out with wrestle friends and make some cool stuff too. Um, Dan and Knox did some work and made uh, a scaled replica of the Academy, which was pretty awesome. And yeah, so there's been some fun stuff uh, over the last couple weeks playing. So um, hey to everybody who's joining. Hope you're all well. Feel free to say hey in the chat. We're gonna be joined by Devon Monroe here around 8 p.m. Central. So we're looking forward to that. Catching up with Devon. It's been a hot minute since he's been on the podcast. We've really been looking forward to having him on. Folks that are coming up, guests over the next month or so. Gonna have Briley Jackson on. In September. Going to have Josh Price, who is promoting Destination Pro, which we've been happy to sponsor, getting some wrestling up in the kind of northwest region of Minnesota. That really hasn't had much unless you're driving down to Fargo. So up near the tippity top, he's going to be running coming up here next month. So excited to be able to see what they're up to and check things out. Um, but yeah, we've just been talking about all the shows that are going on, all the new shows, Time Bomb Pro, the first shows this past weekend. If you've gone to a show, feel free to share. I'm excited to kind of see where people are feeling in terms of safety and everything else going on. It's yeah, we've just been kind of talking about that, waxing a little bit. Big Log sharing some of his experiences and me sharing some of mine, which have been a little daunting in terms of figuring out where everybody's at with their comfort levels and where all the promotions are at in terms of kind of safety. But yeah, Destination Pro is coming up on the 18th, so a week before Time Bomb comes down here. But yeah, Destination Pro will be promoting up there in Thief River Falls. So lots of familiar faces on the show. NDS, Riley Jackson, Levy Cruz on that. Kaylina Keene, lots of great names announced from that neck of the woods as well. Bobby Brennan's going to be on the card. I haven't seen if yeah, and Jack his brother, Izzy B, Cold Stone Tim Boston coming up. Um, a number of folks coming up, I think, from the Nebraska scene. Jay Fowler is going to be up. Ox from the Barking Spiders is going to be over from the kind of Arrowhead region. Um, yeah, Sato Kabara, J.C. Slater, Josh Price is going to be on it. Cal Creed, Ryan Cruz, Craven Knight. So lots of folks at the curling club. Um, on September 18th. So if you are watching from that region or just feel like taking the drive, I'd encourage you to go and check it out. I think that Josh has really been trying to do things right, having a little after party, working with some great folks in terms of graphics and everything else. Yeah, talent for days. I think it's a really, looking at a first event, affordable, $15 for adults, 10 bucks, 18 and under. It feels like a good, kind of solid first effort, and a good amount of talent to bring into the kind of Northwest, area of the state, which doesn't get a lot of love. It's hard to promote, I think, in more rural areas, but Thief River Falls and I think the surrounding communities have a lot going for them. Having this going on. So yeah, so go check them out. September 18th. We'll be talking on the next show on September 1st with Josh, for sure, and maybe even some other people from the card, to help spread the word a little bit about what's going on there. Yeah, talent for days. So yeah. Oh, hey, thanks, Matt. How you doing? Hope you're well. Um, you can check out Matt, New Money Matt, as we say, and my brother Diamond Dave, Tiny Mang Tuesday, streaming here on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, all live, and as well as on Dave's Twitch channel over at twitch.tv/Dave Wonder. Go head over, give him a follow, check their stuff out every Tuesday. They hang and bang, doing everything from custom paint jobs to kit bashes and customization of Tiny Mang action figures, baby. Um, it's if you want some like real Zen mixed in with some sophomoric humor and wrestle talk, that's your jam, man. That's your jam. Um, in a lot of ways, just an expansion of the kind of spiritual success of the tried and true heel turn formula. And then every other Wednesday. Oh, we're not gonna ticker on that, but you can catch us here every other Wednesday for Heel Turn Radio. We've been doing this for a while. I think it's been something that we have been really passionate about and trying to figure out how it works best over this past year, which has been a challenge. Not going to shows every week, not being able to kind of be comfortable sending people out to shows every week. We definitely try to figure out how we can best interact with all of our Russell friends. So yeah, it's good to know people are out there and hanging out, supporting their show and supporting our shows. And yeah, just thinking about where everybody's at and kind of what they're up to, shows that they've gone to, promotions that they feel comfortable with, or if you've been to a show and you don't feel comfortable with it, I'm interested in kind of hearing what was holding things back for you, or kind of what had you a little apprehensive about that. Um, yeah, so this is also a little new. Doing things through StreamYard is great. It's been able to increase our reach, chatting with everybody who's subscribed on YouTube and our followers on Twitch. It's that continues to grow. We're almost to 225 followers. So if you aren't following, please feel free. We're on here every Tuesday, every other Wednesday, and every other Thursday, and kind of looking at figuring out more fun things we can do with Wrestle Buds and what we can do to help support wrestlers that are out there. I know that we have some friends of the podcast that are on the shelf right now. Best thoughts go out to the scene, Sebastian Taylor, who needed to have some kind of medical attention with his back, and so he's going to be out for a while. So we wish him all the best. It's always hard to see folks that go out there and put their bodies on the line for our entertainment to kind of go down with injury, especially ones that can be perpetual and exponential. So want to make sure that they're getting healthy and making healthy decisions because yeah, if we've learned one thing from being behind the curtain a little bit, it's how much more important all of these amazing people are than kind of getting back in the ring. I think there's a lot to give in the wrestling industry without being a kind of in ring grappler, and so for anybody out there that's struggling with that, um, it's yeah, it's something that we've thought a lot about, and like I said, that goes towards uh, supporting promotions monetarily, um, whether it be Time Bomb Pro or Black Wrestlers Matter. We've been really fortunate to be able to support them, support Destination Pro, Interspecies Wrestling, which we're really excited about their 1 million brick show. Um, and that kind of goes back a little bit to kind of new models and not just doing things, promoting things, marketing things, um, creating an economy of things the same way that we had previously, before the pandemic. I think it's taken a lot of promotions a lot to kind of stay afloat and connect with their audiences. So I think streaming, whether that be through IWTV or Fight App or just on Twitch. I think a lot of promotions have found a little connection um, with everything going on and managed to keep going by embracing some new ways of thinking, and so crowdfunding I think certainly is one of those ways. But man, I just there's so many there's so many opportunities for promotions to make money um, in very simple ways that they don't, and I think that it's I don't know whether it's being kind of slavish to the way things have been done, or if it's not having the capacity in house. Um, but yeah, I think some of the promotions that have really caught on, the Mindy Wrestling Network, man, that would be a headache. I don't know that I'm prepared to endure, but um, yeah, I mean, I always want to think about things like that. Thanks, Big Log. About kind of what we could be doing, what we could be having, what we could be promoting. I mean, should we be promoting a once a year cup, like the Super J Cup? Should we be doing a best of tag team? Should we be doing kind of best of the Super Juniors type of thing? I've seen some of the cups that have kind of cropped up over the last couple of years, and we've certainly thought about how we could work with promotions or other individuals in the Twin Cities to highlight um, some of these kind of undervalued um, uh, wrestlers, promoters, et cetera, et cetera. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what would work. Wisconsin does. I think WPW does a big showcase of champions and really gets a lot of buy-in across the board. I think that our scene's pretty fragmented. I don't know that we would have more than three or four promotions that would want to work together to do something like that. And so, in the end, it was real easy during the pandemic to further move away from supporting promotions to supporting individuals, because those individual relationships were the only ones that really could continue when there weren't promotions running. And so I think that that's an interesting thing to consider is who you bring on board, how how you interact from a kind of a both a fiscal and a business relationship. And then, also there's booking relationships and all the other things that you have to navigate. Egos are not limited to promoters or wrestlers or financiers, sponsors. Everybody plays a different role, so it's a hard thing to grapple with. But streaming service, oh hell no. That said, if people want to talk to us about doing commentary uh, for certain things, or want to pick our brains, or um, want to collaborate, let us know, because I think we're always eager to find better ways, or new ways to draw people into the kind of wild menagerie that is professional wrestling. Because I still am convinced after going to the first show on Sunday, which was again my first show since the Rosedale show last March, just how magical pro wrestling can be when it's in its purest form, telling good stories, whether those stories are one show long or 1 year long. I think that you can really find your own um, genre, or as we always say, kind of picking your own flavor of what you'd like to see. And I think if that's not there, then you should make it. I think that that's what's impressive about some of the promotions that are looking at markets like the Northwest Minnesota with Destination Pro, um, and starting up, or Time Bomb looking around and saying, there's nothing like this anywhere close. And then even looking down to the Twin Cities and saying there's nothing like this down there either. So why not utilize some of our networks to try something different? Should it all be happening in the midst of a pandemic? I don't know. I don't know. It's a hard thing to noodle, but it's certainly something to consider. I don't know how talk radio shows do it all day long. I mean, it's real obvious to me, um, when you don't have something completely laid out like a lecture, just how extemporaneous and nonsensical um, some of your segues need to be in order to perpetuate a full hour of discourse, let alone three or four, when you're just a singular talking head staring at yourself. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I like that. Um, I think that having a co-host is something great, and I would say one of the things that made things great with everything, for commentary is having King and Warrior to bounce things off of, because man, it can be a very strange thing to try to drive a narrative solo. Um, yeah, I believe that they need a passion for it for sure. I, I think so too, but man, some of that stuff can just be so toxic. It doesn't make a difference who they are. Hearing yourself in an echo chamber for 3 or 4 hours, just going over the same thing again, you can convince yourself of damn near anything. I'm pretty sure. But Big Lug, what are you streaming right now? What games are you playing? Are you still doing a lot of JRPGs, or are you moving on to other stuff? I saw you trying some stuff lately. Excuse me. I got the hiccups and I can't get rid of them, which is not great if you can't throw it to somebody else. Ooh. But let's see what we got. Trying to monitor all of the chats. They come in StreamYard, but every once in a while I like to check and see who's hanging out, watching on the different streams. Got 3 or 4 people watching on Twitch, and had some folks watching on Facebook Live. So I always like to try to keep a bit of a tab on everybody that's hanging out. Um, mhm. Yeah, so many people. Um, yeah, and thanks to everybody, who's watching or stopped by. Nick, Ben, John, Big Log. I think Photos by Manning liked the video. I think he's out and about right now. But yeah, it's it's been interesting to see, starting to kind of tune into all of the other StreamYard users besides folks like Diamond Dave and New Money Matt. We've been sharing Jake Manning, the Man Scouts streams. He's been streaming every Man Scout Monday. And has had just an amazing kind of amount of recap and special guests. He's had he's had so many people. He had Mr. Thunderbolt on. He had he had Freight Train on. He's had George South on. Yeah, a lot of really interesting, crazy stuff. You can check that out. Happens every Monday night. And Jake is just an amazing talent. Hope that he'll make his way back to First Wrestling at some point. Also, speaking of other folks that are putting stuff out, our friend Ricky Noren, the Renaissance, is starting his Suffer for Pod sketch comedy done in a tight 8 to 12, dropping his first season coming up here next week. And yeah, it should be great. He said it's definitely an experimental take on his promos. So for anybody that loved the Renaissance Review, for anybody who loves Ricky's style, check that out. Keep posted to his socials. Always fantastic. You can also catch him September 25th at that Time Bomb show here at Part Wolf. Big Log still playing Nexamon Extinction, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Raging Loop. Um, nice. It's a good mix in there. It's tough to I think it's tough to kind of stream on a regular basis without having a bit of a mix. I'm interested in kind of seeing. I haven't seen what Clark's been up to in a while. I saw that Oren was streaming some Fortnite earlier. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen. I thought Clark was also streaming tonight, but maybe he's taking the night off. I know that he's had a lot going on lately as well. But yeah, we got about 10 minutes left here before we're joined by Devon Monroe. So if you're hanging out, watching, have anything that has been on your wrestling agenda, I know that I've been diving back into a lot of the videos that have been made by I'm going to forget his name. Joseph Monticello, or no, Montecillo. Um, Especially with all the conversation about CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. If you haven't watched his Daniel Bryan is the greatest wrestler of all time, I highly, highly recommend it. It is amazing. Like many of his videos, they are just kind of out of this world good. He makes a lot of kind of short biopics, and and video essays about things. This one is actually over an hour long, and it's astounding. It's so good. He's done a huge series on King's Road. He did a fantastic breakdown of the Nigel McGuinness versus Bryan Danielson feud in relationship to Amadeus. Yeah, he does amazing work. You can follow him on YouTube. He's got his own channel. He just put out a great new kind of short biopic video essay on John Moxley that was really amazing. Uh, yeah, and the other is Walking the King's Road is his series that the King absolutely loves, but definitely worth checking it out. And then he also does compilations of the year's best in wrestling that are truly great, especially for people that enjoy different eras of wrestling. He's done. He started in the '90s. Did 2020. And has bounced back to 1991. So going through a lot of that. He also has done previously monthly match roundups of best matches and things like that. Um, yeah, yeah. Just if you haven't checked him out, check it out. I put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to peep Joseph Montesio's work. Truly fantastic um, set of video essays. Um, if there are any people out there that have video essays, one of my favorite things to watch about wrestling, people that are passionate enough to highlight, um, you know, uh, any numbers of wrestlers or other people that they're kind of passionate about, super excited to kind of hear other people that we could check out, um, or kind of go in and um, watch and get to know new wrestlers. Uh, I've been looking for somebody to do a really dynamite Eddie Kingston documentary. I know that there was a short one done. I can't remember whether it was the guy that did all of the short ones. Um, oh, before then, but I just saw our friend pop onto the stream, and I think we're gonna bring him on because he's looking smiley and ready to go. So hey, what's up, my friend?
Hello, how are you?
I'm so good, Devon Monroe. Welcome. This is like the last time I think you were on the podcast.
Hmm.
You were just starting. I mean, starting doing media, and we hung out
Hmm.
at the Summit Brewing
Yes,
for the
yes,
MAW show.
I remember that.
That seems like a lifetime ago, man. How are you?
Hmm. I'm doing well. Just trying to hang in there, despite everything we're going through. Keeping it pushing, keeping it moving. How about yourself?
Yeah, man. We were just talking with some folks in the chat about just kind of how strange it's been to kind of find a comfort level with what you're willing to do and which
Hmm.
shows you're willing to go to
Yes.
and you know who who can absorb that risk, and if your job isn't one where like you can afford to get sick, like can you afford to
Yeah.
go to see wrestling? That's a rough. I
Exactly.
I was saying, like, as an educator, it's really hard because if I get sick or if I pass that along, like to pass that along to colleagues or students,
Hmm.
it's not like when you're at a job where you can get somebody to cover your shift. If you're
Right.
if you're that person teaching that class, like if
Hmm.
you're not there, that class doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
it's hard to do, but I was also saying how cathartic it was to go and see that show on Sunday, and like how great it was to see people like you and God, everybody
Yeah, absolutely.
that I haven't seen in such a long time. But yeah, man, I mean, you have like just blown up. I mean, as we all kind of could see that this like absolute
Hmm.
spark was going to turn into a wildfire.
Hmm.
You've been everywhere, man. It's so it's so good to see someone who puts in so much work, just be
Thank
everywhere.
you.
I mean, what's that been like? I mean, your hustle is unparalleled. I mean, you are everywhere on social media. You have wrestled, I think, I for my money, in some of you've had some of the biggest opportunities that because of COVID got put on
Yeah,
pause, but man, like when the door opened again, you were like through it. And
right out there.
yeah,
Oh my goodness, thank you. It's been very, I'm grateful. Is really all I can say. I know right before, this pandemic really took off, kind of I had a show in Washington D.C. with Butch versus Gore. That was kind of like my first kind of, furthest from home. That was
yeah,
an awesome opportunity. Unfortunately, then the shutdowns began. But I've been so grateful with like the opportunities, especially with GCW. I've been on Effie's Big Gay Brunch twice, and he's held multiple events there. So it's just been really just awesome. Just kind of just to continue to live my dream. It's been
yeah,
great.
yeah. I feel like Butch versus Gore was so big for so many people as a real like expansive, like a lot of people came out for it from
Hmm.
like different places that maybe hadn't had a national spotlight before. How is it
Yeah.
like, working with them and
Hmm.
I mean, do you see more opportunities, for other young wrestlers that want to kind of find a kind of place? It
Hmm.
feels like kind of like GCW is for some people, like
Hmm.
that felt like a home away from home. Like
Yeah.
everybody who was on that show just
Hmm.
like raved about the experience and the like community, which is
Hmm.
that's like the
Yeah.
best, you know.
Exactly. I think definitely being a part of Bush versus Gore was something that was just so special. I think that roster, Billy Dixon, he makes sure diversity is key. There's something out there for everyone, and everyone deserves to be represented. And I think that it was so awesome seeing wrestlers who would normally get in a national platform be there. I know I got the opportunity to go with Russell Rogue. Who has moved recently all the way to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's where he's based now. So it's just been wonderful. Just kind of, I love what Billy Dixon is doing with Bush versus Gore.
Yeah. Are there other places that you've had like the opportunity to wrestle that kind of feel
Hmm.
like that, or that you'd like to shout out just for kind of being a good
Mm.
locker room or just like a good vibe? It seems like it's tough to kind of hit that magic like
Yeah.
balance, but it seems like there's been a lot of promotions or
Hmm.
or promoters like Billy that really like go
Yeah.
the extra mile.
I say for sure off the top of the head, one that comes to mind is Journey Pro. I know I got the opportunity to work with them twice now, and they're now returning for shows. Journey Pro definitely kind of aligns in the same realm of just kind of just having a little bit of everything on each show and making sure not to have too much of one thing. Journey Pro, No Peace Underground is fun. I know that's a deathmatch promotion, lots of hardcore things going on. Yeah, those are two promotions that come to mind.
That's awesome. And you mentioned you've been on Effie's Big Gay Brunch a couple times.
Hmm.
Are we going to see you? Can we do we know if we're going to see you down in Chicago for any
Um,
of the fun that's going to be down there?
yes, you will. So I was already announced for Effie's Big Gay Brunch Chicago, so I will be on that. And just
Nice.
about a little under an hour ago, I actually had another announcement. I'm going to be participating on Friday night. I'm going to be part of Freelance and Freelance Underground.
Oh, awesome.
I have a little trio 6-man tag. I'm tagging with Angel Escalera and Effie versus Trevor Outlaw, Darius Latrell, and Golden Hernandez. So that should be fun.
Damn, dude, congrats. That's
Hmm.
huge, man. That's such a
Thank you.
amazing match too. Holy
Yeah, it's
shit.
gonna be insane, definitely. I know Trevor Outlaw, Rude ASS, he is going to get it. I can't wait to tie it up with him.
Oh man, that's good. I mean that's the other thing in the last year too. You have wrestled like so many amazing people. I mean, are there people that like stand out from the
Mhm.
last year, like getting a chance to get in the ring with them, or even
Mhm.
like be on the same card with people that just kind of
Mhm.
either were kind of inspiring to be there with, or just like kind
Mhm.
of blew your mind being in the ring with.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the wonderful opportunity to go one on one with Dark Chic in January of this year. That was on Effie's Big Gay Block. It was so wonderful, just kind of just learning from her, being able to sit under her learning tree and kind of tied up with her. I learned a lot, and it was actually one of, in my opinion, one of I think my better matches, one of my favorite matches today. Definitely Dark Chic.
That's awesome. Oh man. Yeah, I'm just like I'm trying to go back through like when before I started streaming, I was just kind of going through the list of all these shows that you'd been on, and like,
Yeah.
who you'd wrestled, and
Mhm.
you know, people that you've interacted with, Sonny Kiss and Faye Jackson. I mean,
Yes.
like just right, I mean, like
Mhm.
just thinking about, you know, 2 years ago versus a year ago versus now, a
Mhm.
year ago just felt like
Mhm.
everything was just frozen,
Yes.
it's been so
Mhm.
cool to see, you know, see where people have kind of come
Everything just
out of
coming.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely agree.
Oh man. And then this last weekend you were on the first shows, which it's always seeing our first boys come home to first is
Yeah.
makes I think makes
Oh
us
my goodness.
all happy, and you could probably tell that by the pop that that you got and Dante
First is
got,
home.
and even Ja. I mean,
Yes.
it's I mean, what's that like? I mean, being on those
Hmm.
shows after that. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't think it's
Oh,
kind of a stretch to say like people who train
hmm.
in Minnesota or around here, like they
Yes.
want to get on first shows. Like that's the thing. That's the
Hmm.
next step up. I
That's
mean,
the
what's
next
that
level.
like? Yeah.
It's just it's awesome being a part of First Wrestling. These the shows this weekend especially, it was just so great being back home. Being home base. You never forget where you came from. I'll never forget. Minneapolis is where I'm from. This is where I started. And First Wrestling is doing some wonderful, wonderful things. I know WrestlePalooza is coming up October 1st, so I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to being back. I will be there.
Oh man. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, tickets went on sale for that October 1st at
Hmm.
First Avenue, and then yeah, and then they're going to be debuting at Pyrus too, which is it's fun
Yes.
to have these outdoor shows and just like
Hmm.
get different people that might not come to even a WrestlePalooza. I think WrestlePalooza is kind of like that
Yeah.
gateway to bring people in and be like, sure,
Yep.
yeah. You think independent wrestling? Why don't you come to a WrestlePalooza with us?
Come actually show and make them a fan. Yes.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, seeing Clutch
Mhm.
for the first time on Friday, and then Blood, Sweat, and Beers 3, back at Bauhaus.
Yes.
Man, that crowd is just it's so broad, and there's so many folks that come out to those shows.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know what's that like after having kind of wrestled
Mhm.
in like going back to wrestling in front of people instead of wrestling in front of like an
Yes.
empty room. What
I
like
know,
how
right?
weird was that?
Oh my goodness. Did have a few, matches that, weren't with fans, and it definitely is weird. You kind of in the ring, you kind of depend on the fans to kind of feed off of them. You feel their energy. You emote with them. You want them to feel you. So it was a little weird. I felt like I was in there alone. That's how I can describe it. Like when I'm out there in the ring with the fans, I feel like I have them with me. But like wrestling with no fans, it felt like I was there alone.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I can't imagine. The couple times we've had to call shows in post, without being able to like vibe off of what is happening, or,
Yes.
even when we don't know what's going to happen, in the show, like we've like tuned it out and haven't heard
Yes.
any of the results or anything. It's
Mhm.
still, yeah, that's kind of like a safety net, like having the fans there,
Yeah.
and being able to kind of like pick up on the little things that are
Hmm.
happening or what people are reacting to.
Yeah.
It's Yeah, you can't really feed into that the same way.
I know. It's like barren. It's like makes you just I don't know. It just wasn't a fun time. But I'm glad. Hopefully things continue to improve. I know the state of the world is kind of just up in the air. But I just hope things continue to improve so we can keep having this. Like, I don't want to ever go back to things being canceled.
Yeah, no, it's rough. I mean, even
Hmm.
this upcoming WrestlePalooza is kind of like it's like WrestlePalooza 18 again
Yeah.
because the last one
Hmm.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing to think about. But yeah, and then I mean, I think that the other thing is, um, you've done the Black Wrestlers Matter shows, which have been
Hmm.
amazing. You've been able to go out and do all these GCW shows
Hmm.
and travel too, which has been awesome. I mean, what's maybe the biggest difference being out at some of these bigger promotions or kind of more kind of national, kind of scale promotions that are more kind
Hmm.
of streaming audience than kind of
Yeah.
like here, I think that
Hmm.
we have some different people at different promotions, but there's like a core people, that go to shows. I mean, what's the
Yeah.
difference of playing for a crowd that doesn't know
Hmm.
you, maybe?
Yeah. I think the biggest difference, and I feel like if you're performing in front of a crowd that doesn't know you, um, it's kind of just more pressure. I think for me, that's just all it is. At home, you see familiar faces. They know you. They know how you get down. So it's always fun to uh, party with them. But like wrestling in front of like a new crowd definitely is a little bit more nerve wracking for me personally.
Yeah. Do you find it's easier to connect, or do you think it's easier to connect with them because
Hmm.
you typically wrestle as a face? I mean, because when you come through the
Hmm.
curtain, like if people aren't on board
Yeah.
with you, like coming out just like a
Hmm.
ball of fire and like,
Yeah.
you know, I
Hmm.
just I don't know.
I I think yeah. I will say, even though it is, I did say earlier, it's a little nerve wracking. I find it more fun to come out and play the new crowds because, like you said, when I come out, I'm ready to, show you how I'm about to get down, as I said earlier, and I'm just ready to turn it up. So, um, honestly, I think that's the best part.
And it's one of those things that I think that even when you were starting off and kind of trying to find that like catch or confidence or whatever people want to call it,
Hmm.
like you always came out with like huge energy. And I think
Hmm.
just like the more and more you've wrestled, like the more and more that's just like amplified to the point where people like they get it right away. Like
Yes.
I think that that's a hard thing to do.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, I don't know that there's anybody that comes out with just like the enthusiasm that you do that like is
Uh-huh.
really immediately infectious, like I
Thank
think people
you.
get that, which is like always been the allure, like you
Hmm.
said, like just go out and you like bring that energy and you like
Hmm.
I think people just vibe off that so quickly.
Thank you so much.
And I don't know what it is, man. I think it's just you just like come out and that
Hmm.
smile is like golden, like people know that you're like
Hmm.
there and you're like genuinely having a great time, which
Yep.
well, some people come out and don't look like they're having a great time, and that's
Yeah, they
always
come
kind of
out, they
like,
look bland.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, what else can I do? I mean, I'm out, I'm living my dream, and that's just all in all makes me happy. Like, how can I not?
yeah, man. I mean, that's one of the other things I was really curious about, for someone
Hmm.
who graduated from the academy
Hmm.
and has found a lot of success. Is there maybe like one thing that has totally surprised you about kind of like getting out more on the
Hmm.
scene and you like hadn't anticipated, or something
Yeah.
that you were kind of like, oh, this is like way easier or way harder than I thought it would be?
Yeah. Um, give me some examples because I'm having a hard time juggling that
Yeah.
one.
No, I mean, I think sometimes we consider kind of like what making towns or
Hmm.
traveling or kind of getting our names out there, or
Yeah.
even kind of building an audience so you have that,
Hmm.
those, you know 5 or 10 people in the crowd that like they know who the hell Devon Monroe is before
Yeah.
he comes out of that, whether they've seen him in person or not.
Hmm.
Um, is there something that you feel like you learned at the academy that like really helped with that, or like in
Hmm.
training, or kind of, while you were starting to, do shows here,
Yeah.
or was there something that you're kind of like, oh shit, like I wish I would have learned that, or
Yeah.
that would be really helpful for,
Hmm.
like, is there something that like when you meet people that have come out of subsequent classes that you're like, dude, you gotta get this figured out. This will help you so much. Like I didn't get this at
Dang,
first.
I'm like trying to juggle what an example would be. I cannot
Yeah,
think of
yeah,
one.
yeah. No, it's tough. It's always, sometimes, we talk about it. Some people are like natural promos, so like they never
Hmm.
really think about that. And I always thought that was
Yeah.
kind of the funniest thing. You're kind of like, oh, I don't know, I don't feel great about talking, or like I'm a little
Yeah.
nervous about that. But then
Uh-huh.
when you talk, you just, your personality comes through, and it's like so natural. But that can be
Yeah.
really easy when you're talking to people, but
Right.
cutting a promo, it's kind of like now I have to be this
Yeah.
person to all of these people. I don't know.
Exactly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm always just curious about that, just
Hmm.
because wrestling is so much both the kind of physical, and then the
Hmm.
kind of the kind of social crowd interaction, but then
Right.
it's also kind of this kind of acting, or kind of monologuing, right?
Yeah.
There's some kind of setup that
Hmm.
happens depending on the type of promotion. Some are really kind of like, you show up and
Hmm.
here's the kind of story that happens in one night, and then some of it's like, I need to
Hmm.
kind of set this up some way.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard for me to kind of like nail something down,
Right.
um, per se. But I'm always just interested in that. If people have kind of gotten on the road, or started to
Yeah.
do, bigger and bigger things, and then gone, oh man, I don't know what I'm doing with like this aspect of wrestling.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
something I want to work on.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, maybe just be slow down. I'm always, telling myself to slow down, and I feel like that's so cliche, but I mean that really is, throughout the business, you just got to slow down, and whether that be, looking out to the crowd, paying attention to the crowd, or just making sure that I'm in the zone, just slowing down.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and which is, it's so funny because that's something that people talk about a lot. Like, if you think you're going too fast, you are, and if you
Hmm.
think you're going slow enough, go a little slower.
Yeah. Right.
um, uh, Logan Cartman, referee for Showtime Pro Wrestling, said, "Are there any funny moments since you branched out? Anything that cracked you up, or maybe was a good goof on the road?"
Oh my goodness. I'm trying to refrain from telling the girls tea. What is a goofy moment? I don't know why my brain is so scrambled right now.
It's hard to tune
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
anything in, man.
Yeah, there's someone's going on. Um, funny moment, funny moment. I I'm sorry, my brain is so scrambled right now. I can't
No,
even.
no,
I'm
dude,
sorry,
don't worry
Logan.
about it. No, I think that I think that it's good. Oh, hey, TJ, Leonard Litters, he just popped in. What's up? What's up, TJ? How are you?
Hello.
Um, yeah, it's so good to see people like popping in here and there and saying hi
Mhm.
too. It's like,
Yeah,
I don't
what's up,
know.
everybody?
It's kind of weird that like we used to just like hang out in King's basement, and like it was
Hmm.
just a conversation, and now Twitch and streaming is a
Yeah,
totally different, it's a totally different beast. Things
it
pop in, you're kind of like, oh,
is.
should I mention that now? Is that going to cut off the flow of what we're doing? Like, is that going to throw
Yeah.
people off? Um,
Oh my goodness.
but yeah, man, I don't know. I think one of my biggest sad moments is
Mhm.
not getting the full um, gray sweatpants battle royal from Faye Jackson.
Oh
That
my
was maybe my
goodness.
biggest sad, like, big loss of the
Yeah,
pandemic.
I know they got the original Tampa. I mean, the original Tampa version got canceled, but They pulled it out last April. That was fun, to be a part of. I
Yeah,
forgot that even happened.
I know, right? Like, it's so funny. Like, time has been so wacky, that trying to remember even what happened, oh God, a couple months ago.
Mhm.
Like, when did that happen? Was
That
that
was
this
in
April? Was it
April.
last
That was in
April?
April.
Yeah,
I
right.
know it seems so long ago. That was yeah, beginning of April.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been, which also seems like a hot minute, compared to like where we are now. But man, I don't know. Are there any promotions that you've been, kind of trying to get to, that you haven't had an opportunity to wrestle at, that you're kind of um, trying to put on
Hmm.
the list, or are there areas of the country that you haven't wrestled in, that you're like really like, man, I got to get to Atlanta, or
Oh
I
my
got to get
goodness.
to,
Right.
I don't know, Reseda.
Right. No,
Yeah.
for sure. I think what are some let's start with some locations. I think Texas is definitely hot right now. I want the opportunity to wrestle in Texas so bad. They have
Yeah.
few promotions down there. I know New Texas Pro is down there, and WrestleMax, which I've wrestled for in St. Louis, are actually they're going to be holding some shows in Texas.
Oh, cool.
So who knows? Maybe I could pop in there in the future.
That'd be great, man. Yeah,
Hmm.
Thunder Rosa's been running stuff down there, and
Hmm.
collaborating with other promotions too, which has been awesome.
Yes.
Um, yeah, man. Have you been down to a lot of St. Louis stuff previously?
I have been a part of Glory Pro
Okay.
and Wrestle Max. Those are pretty much the only two St. Louis
Yeah.
promotions that I have been part of.
Yeah, man. I was totally bummed. I was supposed to go down for some shows there last March for my birthday. My brother and I were going to go down for a show and to
Yeah,
hang out, and there was a couple of our Minnesota folks that were going to be on the show,
yeah.
and then everything got got canceled.
Oh my
But
goodness.
oh shit, Shane Black's in the comments now. 102.5 the Shane. Big hungry.
Shane Black. Oh goodness. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it's right.
We got to have like our own like miniature twink gauntlet on
Oh
Heel
my
Turn
goodness.
Radio.
I know that's right. I will win. I'm already a
Ah,
Twin Gauntlet champion.
oh man, it's a real it's a real Shane station. Yeah, man, that's the other thing that's been really interesting about streaming, is like I think Shane has and I have talked on
Hmm.
Twitch more than we talked in real life, like before the pandemic at all. Like, it's so funny getting to know
Hmm.
some of the wrestlers, or just like seeing more of the wrestlers online
Right.
than I saw, in person.
In
It's
person.
it's weird, but some people have really found like their
Hmm.
niche, like
Yeah.
streaming and doing stuff. Like
No kidding.
Clark Feldman has like 80 bajillion followers, stream stuff all the time.
That's
Like,
awesome.
um, yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I saw that like Orin Vite was streaming,
Hmm.
Big Low streams.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man.
I always wondered what I would do if I ever even decided to do Twitch because I don't play video games like that. Like I used to when I was in middle school, but I don't. I don't know why I don't play video games anymore. I don't
Yeah.
know. Wrestling kind of just took over.
Oh, I feel that, dude. Even, you know, I think that yeah, you only got so much free time, and I think that
Right.
that's real. It's like,
Yeah.
especially I'm sure with you guys training, just like how much time goes into all of that.
Hmm.
It's tough to play games that aren't, or that are kind of like discreet, like that you don't get
Hmm.
like sucked into. Like, I find
Right.
that all the time. Like, when we were busy doing wrestling and I was
Hmm.
busy teaching, I like, people would be like, "Oh, have you seen this show?" And I was like, "No, I gotta wait till summer, because I'll get sucked in, and then it'll be like
Yep.
I won't sleep, because I'll be, watching 8 episodes of it a night or something like that, or,
Watching the
playing a
show.
game. They'll be like, "No, I'm just gonna stay up for another hour," and then it's like 2 in the morning, and I'm like, "Oh no." Um, yeah, I don't know. What did you play? What did you play when you used to play? Did you
Oh
have
my
any
goodness.
favorite video games?
Da, 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 da. I used to have a PlayStation 2, and one of my favorite games was The Matrix. The Matrix had a cool game that I could play. I got my PS3 and I enjoyed Call of Duty Black Ops. I
Yeah.
know that seems a little not Devon Monroe, but I loved that game. That was one of my favorites, even though I was not good. I got made fun of a lot for being bad.
Yeah,
Those are the two that come to mind for sure.
that's awesome. TJ said, "Can you ask when they plan on rocking the blue and pink suit again? $1 million look."
Blue and pink suit again. You're gonna have to come and visit me at work. That's a combo I wear often.
Oh man, dude, it's so good. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think it's tough to kind of like keep hobbies going
Hmm.
when kind of an obsession becomes the thing that you spend so much time investing in. It's like it's tough
Yeah.
to kind of casually invest in things sometimes
Hmm.
when you have something that's like primary, like wrestling or even I mean even Twitch. It's been funny to have conversations with Clark or other people that because they were wrestling so much less, like streaming kind of became a priority, and now like trying to balance like do they really want to
Yeah.
you know do they really want like how much do you want to give up kind
Hmm.
of going out on the road long
Yeah.
term if you can find you know success or it's more comfortable to be able
Hmm.
to do
Right.
something else. Yeah, I don't know, finding how you balance that priority is super interesting to me.
Hmm.
um, yeah, how do you, I mean, as someone, I mean, obviously you're a young man and
Hmm.
you probably not kind of like, I don't know, maybe you are. I don't know how
Hmm.
much you like talking about your shoot life, but
Yeah.
I mean, how do you find a balance between work and work?
Yeah. Right. Work and work. It's definitely something that I'm, still trying to work on. Um, for me, I was always so independent. When I was 18, I moved out, on my own. I felt I was ready. So it's kind of just being finding a balance between. I also need to work on finding some hobbies too. I feel like that would help me kind of balance, you know, work and work. Um, just kind of you just don't want to, do too much of both or even mix the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I was, it's always an interesting conversation when a
Hmm.
student comes up and goes, "Is this you?" Like talking about heel turn shit, and I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that's me."
That's
Like,
awesome.
"Oh," and usually it's someone who's like, "Oh, I didn't know you like wrestling. I love wrestling," and I'm like,
Right.
"All right, let's have a conversation at a different time,"
That is
But
fun.
but yeah, it's funny. It's really funny seeing people out, at shows.
Hmm.
I think that that's one of the the kind of cool things in some ways about being a performer is
Hmm.
like when we'd go to um Prior Lake and like
Hmm.
Bill Williams like entire like fucking graduating class from high school like show up at a show, you
Yeah,
know um
that's awesome.
or even the crew that you bring, man, like you
Hmm.
bring like boss ass family crews. I used to love when we would go to a show and like your fam would show up and it would just
Yeah.
be, I remember there was that one show. I don't know if it was South St. Paul, and it was like a
Hmm.
big crew of your family showed up, and a big crew of Spriggle's family showed up.
Oh yeah, that was that Cottage Grove?
Yeah, or Cottage Grove. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was that like the
Yeah.
school night show?
Yes. I
Yes,
don't think it was a school night show, but it
or
was
was
that
it the
same
second?
venue.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah. And then I think we were kind of sitting in the same section too. I think kind of
Yeah,
Spriggle family was in the front and my family's kind of in the second row. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I do remember that.
But that's so like I love seeing that like afterwards like wrestlers just like surrounded by like people that absolutely love them and like are so excited to have seen them like
Yeah.
doing their thing, um which can be like so different, like people see you so differently sometimes,
Yeah.
or you can just show a different part of yourself, which is like
Hmm.
such a gratifying thing to like
Hmm.
see people absolutely go out and just shine, in
Yeah.
front of people that have maybe never seen that part of them before,
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's one of like just kind of the best parts of doing what I do. Just kind of just, um, having my family proud of me and just seeing me kind of just, be happy. I know my mom is just one of the, uh, my loves my life, but she I enjoy when she comes to the show because it's like she raised me. It's like look at what you did. Like I'm out there.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. No, man, that's beautiful. I
Hmm.
it's it's that kind of like family and community that I think really make wrestling amazing. Um,
Hmm.
and like when that kind of like adopted family, like all the fans like get
Hmm.
into it just as much as like the people that raised you, and then like
Hmm.
those people like like
Hmm.
hook it up, and it's just like this huge wave
Hmm.
of
Just support,
energy. Yeah,
energy.
yeah. I don't know, and yeah. I, one of the other things I wanted to ask that I had kind of floating around the back of my head
Yeah.
is if there were venues that you'd wrestled at, because we have some good venues
Uh-huh.
and we have some not so good venues, and we have some
Right.
incredible venues like First Avenue.
Hmm.
Were there any places that you had a chance to wrestle over like the last year and a half that were like, oh man, like that's
Hmm.
a good place to wrestle?
Oh my goodness. I've been to Atlantic City, New Jersey twice. The Showboat Hotel, absolutely, absolutely beautiful. Um, Kind of just the ceiling in that venue, just kind of just a blend of oranges and yellows, and it's just
Mm,
awesome. What else? I do Logan Square, even though during COVID they weren't open. Logan Square Auditorium definitely is another fun one where it's just I just love venues that just have high ceilings and with just beautiful like architecture design. Just yes, hook it up. Don't be boring.
yeah, that's such a beautiful venue with the big chandeliers, and it's just
Yes.
so unique, like being up on the like upper floors too.
Yeah. Yep.
Like as a fan, like waiting and going up the stairs and stuff, like
Yes.
filing into that is always this like real beautiful, like like you said, kind of something architectural. It's like a
Right.
big like procession. It feels like you're going up into a, a temple,
Exactly.
It's such a,
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah, I've seen a lot of great shows there. Freelance and Chikara showed there, and then there was
Hmm.
they did like an IWTV showcase there as well. That
Yeah.
was amazing. But yeah, man, I miss that's a venue I like legit miss
Yeah.
going down to. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully everything clears up and we'll be able to do a little bit more of that.
I know. I know. I should drop a little surprise here. Logan Square, Freelance is going to be running Logan Square Auditorium. They're going to be returning on September 10th, and
Oh
yours
shit,
truly will be a part of that show.
that's
So
awesome, man.
that's going to be awesome.
To me that's like the next level too. I think for
Hmm.
Minnesota guys and gals to like go down to freelance and like
Hmm.
be on those shows or freelance underground, like
Yes.
that's such a good, it's so nice to see you like following, I think, in some of the footsteps that are just
Hmm.
one step ahead, and
Yep.
seeing where all of those folks are now.
Hmm.
Like, give it a year. I want to see
Oh
Devon
my goodness.
Monroe on national television.
We'll
But
see.
yeah, man, that's so awesome. Do you have anything else exciting that you're doing coming up that you can talk about? I'm
Let's
trying to remember everything
see.
that you have posted that you
I
have coming up.
know. I know I do need to like get updated on, kind of announcing, but I kind of want to figure out my own way to start doing that. But apart from WrestlePalooza on October 1st, on October 2nd, I will be returning to Chicago because Witch versus Gore is running a show. I'll be a part of the
Nice.
main event. We are doing a battle inside of a steel cage. So I have never
Damn,
been inside a cage before, but this October, Devon Monroe will be.
dude, that's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
I'm super glad that they're running in Chicago. That's
Hmm.
gonna be great.
Yes.
Oh man,
Hopefully more
that's
so
so
to come
exciting.
there for them. But we'll see. I might have to bring my taser down if we're gonna be using some weapons. Okay, okay, buzz buzz.
Yes. Oh man, that looks so good too. Darius Carter,
Hmm.
Killian McMurphy, Eel O'Neill,
Hmm.
Jordan Blade, Molly McCoy, Billy Dixon, Ashton
Uh-huh.
Starr, Erica Lay, Devon Monroe, and mm, one
Mm.
question mark.
Mystery partner. We
Oh,
will see.
here for it, dude. That's so good. Damn,
Yeah.
That's a match, man.
That is gonna be so
What a
much fun.
weekend. Also,
Hmm.
MV Young's gonna be in the Royal Rumble. Damn,
Yes,
that's
the Rumble.
that's great.
That's gonna
AC
be
Max
so
on that
exciting.
show. Oh, something
Uh huh.
good.
AC Mac, the goat.
Oh yeah,
AC Mac
they're
actually just won the CX City Invitational
yeah.
last week, so he is carrying that trophy around as he should. That king.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's so good. Yeah, man. What a that's a I mean that's a banger just based on those two matches alone.
Yes.
Oh, well, I hope that more people can get an opportunity to get some shine at that
Hmm.
show and like be a part of that community because yeah, like you said and everybody else
Hmm.
man, just like such a positive space to be in,
Yes,
which we need more of in wrestling.
we do. We do. We do.
Oh man. Well, yeah, man. I don't know where can people find you. I don't want to keep you forever, but
Oh,
I'd
you
love
okay?
to make sure people know where they can chase Devon Monroe down and any upcoming dates or anything.
Yes, you can all find me on social media. It's at the Devon Monroe, so it's everything is at the Devon Monroe. Um, so yeah, I mean Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Nice. And
Hmm.
yeah, so you got first coming up,
Hmm.
got Butch versus Gore coming up in
Hmm.
Chicago.
Yes.
Man, so much.
Hmm. I have surprised one more announcement for the labor all out weekend. Effie's Big A Bunch of Freelance won't be the only two shows you'll see me on, so that will be coming up as well.
Ooh. Well,
Fire.
dude, I I can't thank you enough for coming on and like always just being like one of the biggest like smiles and hugs at every
Mhm.
show. It's always like just such a huge pleasure to see you back and wrestling here. We know that we have to hold on to our beautiful young talent before they are the world's talent and on
The
national
world talent,
television. So
top flight.
yeah, man,
My
so
king.
good. I mean, and just being able to see JDX and on Dark and seeing Tapia
Yes.
on Dark and
Oh my
seeing
goodness.
Julia down there. Like I
Oh
just
my goodness. It's
yeah,
awesome.
it's a matter of time because you cannot meet the hustle of Minnesota boys out there
Hmm.
just working it. So
Who
thanks,
better?
man.
Absolutely.
It's awesome to have you on and yeah, check out Devon at the Devon Monroe on
Hmm.
all of the socials. We got the socials in the chat and yeah, dude.
All
Thanks for coming
right.
on.
Thank
It's
you for
always
having
great to see
me.
you and we always wish you nothing but the best. It's so fun to just watch your star continue to rise.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, man. Have a great
All
night.
right. You too.
All right, take care. So that was Devon Monroe. Man. Oh, merch. Yeah, I forgot to ask him. Devon has amazing merch. I don't know if he has a Pro Wrestling Tees site or not. Let me look. Um, you can definitely yep, he does. You can check it out. Pro Wrestling Tees, Devon Monroe. Um, Yeah, he's got the Too Hot to Handle Fire Peach shirt. Got the Act Up, You Can Get Snatched Up, Black Excellence, and the ever present Devon Monroe White Castle. Go order a shirt, pick up a shirt at a show. Um, do whatever you can to support Devon. Devon is one of the nicest folks that you can meet and just a real genuine talent, man. He learns and applies things so quickly. It's just amazing. So um yeah, let's see who's online. Who can we go bug? Should we go raid somebody? I feel like we should go raid like my brother or invite. We should raid somebody. Let's see. Who do we got? Let's see. Uh, hmm. Let's drop it. Let's see. Oren's playing some. Oren's playing some Fortnite, and I feel like maybe we should go and bother him. I don't know. Does that sound good to people? I know people on Facebook Live and YouTube are probably like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But for everybody on Twitch, we have the capacity to go and raid some of our friends here. So I feel like we might as well do that. We don't get to do it a whole lot, so so yeah, let's raid a channel. And Oran's only got a couple of people watching. Dave's got 30 some people watching. So for everybody that's hanging out, please hop on over if you're on Twitch. Say hey to Orinvite. Follow him at Orinvite18. He's playing some Fortnite. I think he looked like he was playing with some Superman. And for everybody else, thanks so much for a great evening. And thanks again to Devon Monroe. Go out, pick up a T-shirt. Catch him at WrestlePalooza on October 1st. Catch him down. In Chicago for freelance. Check out for Effie's show and maybe some other shows that weekend, and we'll see you all soon. Have a good night.